Farming is back-breaking work, dirty work, detailed work, and most of all, risky work. More on that next with Reverend Sue.
Got joy in my soul. God is in control. I got Satan on my trail, but I'm singing all is well. He's attacking every day, but I'm watching while I pray. No matter the attack, I won't turn back.
How are you doing this evening? And thank you for joining us. Again, I'm still fussing about the Black farmers and the funds that they have not received and should have received because it's law. White farmers filed a lawsuit against the $5.5 billion that is due Black farmers and farmers of color. So today, we're going to talk to a farmer in Georgia. And he is a young farmer. His grandfather started him farming, and he's been farming ever since. He's doing very well. We're going to talk about it because I'm not satisfied right now about what's happening to our Black farmers. I have to be very honest about that. And you should not be pleased with it. And you should do something about it. His name is Mr. Roy Mosley Jr. And like I said, he has a farm in Georgia, I believe in Bullard County, Georgia, very active. And he started out as a young, really young boy following his grandpa. And his grandfather taught him a lot about farming. And here he is a farmer, but he has kind of different farm. He has hogs and vegetables, but he's very interested in natural meat, natural vegetables. I don't know the different natural, organic, but that's what he's doing. And he's making a difference in his area, as well as the United States. And you're going to read more about him in the future. He's our second time coming on our show. And we thank God for him because we need farmers like Mr. Mosley Jr. to keep the farm business in place. And like I said before, it costs money to farm. So Mr. Mosley, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I know that you're busy. It's hard to get a time for you can be on because you're constantly doing things. So we thank you for being with us. So
Yes,
how are
ma'am.
you today?
Thank you for having me.
And the thing about it is that, so you farm, your biggest farm industry is hogs and vegetables.
Yes, my main thing is feeder. We have a feeder pig operation where we do fair. We actually breed the sows. We're at the capacity of almost at 50 sows on our place, and we breed the sows, raise the babies, wean them, and then they go off to other farms to be grown out and to be processed into meat products for other farms.
So
and then we retain.
Mm-hmm. So you're actually breeding hogs, and then when they go, you breed them and and then you sell them to other farmers.
Yes, and then they grow them out for their markets, and then I retain some of my own pigs to grow out for my own meat markets.
Okay, so when you breed them, I'm kind of naive to this. I know I was born on a farm, but okay, the breeding part. So you have how many do you breed at the same time? Like how many hogs?
Out of the 50 mamas, we breed about 5 to 10 at a time. So we have groups we try to stay at least in the range of at least 30 pigs in each group. So we have anywhere from 30 to 100 pigs in a group at a time, once those sows have pigs.
Okay, so you have the my terminology. So they breed pretty fast then.
Yeah, a sow's gestation is about 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days, and you can look for the pigs within those 3 days. So, naturally you can get about 2 litters a year. If it was a commercial hog house, they wean the babies at 18 days, where we wean them at 6 to 8 weeks, and then they give them a shot to make them come back and eat. So they're getting about 4 litters a year but that's not natural, you know.
Mhm.
It kind of kills your side out fast. It makes it wear out fast. You have to get rid of them fast.
Oh, so that's not good.
No, but naturally, how God intended, you can get 2 litters a year easy. Yeah.
Now, you know, mothers are always very particular about their children, their babies. So you don't have that problem because hogs could be very mean. I was bit by a hog when I was like 6 years old. So they could be very, yeah, Mrs. Mosley, I was, because I was picked with, it was my fault because I kept putting the corn, pretending I was gonna give the hog corn, and I didn't. And instead of biting the ear of corn, it bit my finger. And almost lost my finger. They are very, very, I don't deal with hogs very well. So when you talk about the mothers and the mothers are being separated from their babies, how about, tell me about that.
Well, one thing, we breed for docility. So like, you know, if a mama is too hot or just too wild and crazy, we have to get rid of them. But we breed for docility. You want with them being outside, you do want the mamas to be protective because you don't want them to let, you know, a wild dog or anything, a fox or something come take their baby. So you want them to have out on pasture. They need to be protective to a certain extent. But we just have a good system. I start creep feeding my babies at about 2 weeks old. So they're already used to coming into an area and getting feed away from their mamas that their mamas can't get into. So usually at about 3 weeks old, we catch them all in that creep area. We round them up, put them on a trailer, take them down to the barn, and then that's where we actually like do our most of the time do our castration process. And then after that, we put them back out with the moms for the last 4 to 5 weeks. And then we just do a roundup the same way to bring them back in when we get ready to sort them out and all. So you don't have to really, you know, get out there in the old way of trying to, you know, fight with the mom and take the babies and nothing like that. We don't do the cowboy way no more. That's dangerous. You get yourself hurt like that.
I can believe it.
So we kind of let the pigs catch themselves, you know, kind of let them catch themselves. You just cut the feed out for a few days, and then when they go in there, we close the gate. We might have a straggler to catch, but most of the time we get the whole group at one time.
Right. Now, as a farmer, you know what's happening. You've heard about the $5.5 billion. So you still have not received that. And so, but you still need money. You mean blight farmers. I'm talking about blight farmers today. Need money to operate. And because you have livestock, you have to have fences. You have to have, now every farmer has to have irrigation. So how do you maintain your farm in order to how do you maintain your farm and still need funds to buy certain things? Like you need the fence because livestock definitely going to go out if you don't have the fence. What are you doing in reference to that?
A lot of it just, you know, I mean, as a black farmer, you got to be proactive. You know, nobody ain't going to bring anything to you or give it to you. So getting out, finding out about programs like NRCS, you know, trying to get hold of the fencing grants where they help you put up cross fences and help you put in a well or do pasture improvement.
Excuse me,
like
so
that.
NRCS is National Resource Conservation Service?
Yes.
Which is an agency about U.S. Department of Agriculture?
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
And just being proactive. I mean, going in there, finding that kind of stuff and staying on top of it. It's just a lot of us that just don't know about any of these programs, and they can help you, you know, like with the money that they have on hold, that will help so many of us out a whole lot. But, you know, like you said, it's on hold, which isn't fair when they've had the advantage for all these years, you know, and then once we get a chance to try to get ahead, you know, then that happens. But I'm praying everything will work out with that and they will get that settled out, because it's a lot of farmers and legacies that's been lost, you know, that could have been saved, that this could still help save, that's being lost right now as we speak. You know, I know farmers just having to go out and downsize, and, you know, it's a lot of that going on.
So NRCS has funds that they will lend you money to put up a fence or rehabilitate a fence or the area, or the ground area, or you know, to clean that area, that the soil itself. You went back and you said that some people do not know about some of these programs. And when you talk about federal programs, that it is supposed to be out there and available for the public, right? So what can you offer some of the farmers to keep up to date about what's happening as far as funds being availability of funds?
But yeah, just getting out, being proactive, and getting to those type of places, and finding out what's going on. I mean, that's the main thing. You're gonna have to, because nobody's gonna tell you about it.
But what I'm saying is that if you have a federal programs like Natural Resource Conservation Service, and they're offering some programs to help the farmers, those programs should be published for the public to be aware of that. That's information, that's education. So are they still published in a federal register, because it's programs that they offer?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They will have to be down there and get on the list, and get on the text message list, or the list, to find out what's going on. You see what I'm saying? Like, other than that, it's not going to be like in your local newspaper or nothing like that. Like, you're going to have to go down there and get on the list. And even with that, sometimes it might come late. Like, you got to go down there and just be proactive on your own.
So my advice would be to our listeners, if it's a federal program like in National Resource Conservation Service, which is a federal program by the Department of Agriculture, and there are funds that are available, those funds have to be announced in some type of public document for our—
Yeah, you can go on their website, or you can be part of their mailing list that I know of.
Right.
Yeah.
And that
But I'm saying, even though it's out there on their website, people still don't know. Black farmers still don't know that. It's now, a lot of people don't know that. That's what I'm saying. We just got to be proactive of even telling each other, and being informative to each other, to tell farmers to go out there that, hey, this kind of money is out there. Go to your local FSA office and see what's going on. Go down to NRCS and see what's going on.
Okay, that's understood. I got you now. And also go to your representatives. You know your representatives in the area. You go to them. You voted for them, or you did not vote for them. They're still responsible for providing services to their voters, to their citizens, and that's important.
Yeah.
So another thing is that going back to the water, because now a lot of farmers cannot afford the irrigation. So what are you doing in reference to that? Can you offer our listeners some advice?
Well, my vegetable operation and my row crop, we grow corn and peanuts, dry land, and we do our vegetables are actually all grown dry land.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been farming them. That's the way we've been farming them. But I just signed up for a program that NRCS has now to help you put in either drip irrigation or what they call hard head irrigation and dig a well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one that I'm going for. So I'm hoping if it works out. So, and to tell people, it doesn't have to be on your land. If you have a long-term lease on the land, which I have on this farm, if you have a long-term lease, they will still do it. But you got to have at least a 7 to 10 year lease for them to do it.
For them to do it.
Yes, because it's got to make sure it's going to be in place long enough for you to get the full use out of it,
We're fighting for our Black farmers over and over again. Over and over again. So why do you think that is so important? Because we have farmers. Why do you think it's so important now to have Black farmers in our communities?
I mean, Black farmers have been around forever. I mean, we're just the last of a dying breed. You need Black farmers in the community to teach our people how to feed themselves. A lot of our people we so far removed from the land, like we don't, a lot of people don't know how to grow a garden or do that kind of stuff unless you grew up in it. And there's a lot of young Black kids now that will benefit from, returning to the land, becoming farmers again, becoming anything in the ag industry, period. Not just the farmer, we miss out on a lot of great jobs, because we kind of have a stigmatism toward farming, because of what we've been through with farming, with our great grandparents, what they've had to endure with sharecropping and all of that, and trying to retain farms in a time where they were being discriminated against. So we just kind of have a bad taste in our mouth when it comes to farming, all the way down to the younger generation. So just to kind of change that stigmatism of that, and try to get our people back, back to the land. I mean, we are some of the best farmers there are. It's just not many of us left.
So basically, and you have a program now where you're teaching the young people to farm?
Yes, we have field days out at the farm where the parents can bring the kids out and we teach them how to actually put in a crop, like teach them how to plant cabbage and collards. And we did greens last year, taught the kids how to plant onions and stuff like that. And then they got a chance to we took pictures and sent them back to them, where they got a chance to see the crop grow. And then they brought them back when it was harvest time, and they actually got a chance to get some of their own stuff, so that was kind of neat to them to be able to see the whole process or be part of the whole process. Mm-hmm. And then just raising livestock, teaching kids what it takes, the responsibility, what it takes of taking care of an animal, period. You learning life lessons. They're not just, going to a farm, just seeing the animals and going home. You're actually getting a chance to learn about it, mm-hmm. and learn what it takes.
And it's nothing like growing your own crops, vegetables, and having your own food now.
That's right.
We get more and more into that because, oh my God, going to a grocery store is unbelievable. It's expensive, very expensive. So going back to money again, because it costs money to farm. It's just that something costs money to farm. So what would be like five things that the money would help our Black farmers do that they can't are limited to doing now? 5 things. We talked about the fencing because that's critical. Livestock, you gotta have fences. Any farm, you gotta have fences.
Yeah, I mean, on that side, livestock, infrastructure is everything. So if you don't have the infrastructure, you can't have livestock without the infrastructure. But row crop farmers, this money will help that a lot of these farms were just deprived of, This will just help their bottom line, help a lot of them be able to catch up on debt. The debt forgiveness program, part of it, will set a lot of farmers up where they can really step up and help the next generation. Like now, you have farms that's in that period of transitioning, to the next generation, but that generation, they happen to pass on a lot of debt. That was caused, some of it, a lot of it, extra debt was caused because of, being discriminated against. So this money will really help them to set the next generation up to succeed, be in a better position to succeed is the main thing that I wish they would release it for, because like I said, it's a lot of farms right now that I know they right on the brink of going out, and this could be their savior, so they could try to get another chance at it, which we all deserve. They've had plenty of chances with it, and that's why I don't see why everybody's such an uproar about us getting one chance. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right. We've had to fight the good fight all the way through, and this is a chance to save a lot of these farms. If not, it's going to be a lot less Black farms than it is now if they don't.
And we do not have very many Black farms. Black farms, we do not. We're losing land as we speak. So that's one. The row crop and debt forgiveness. Anything else that you would think that we need money to do?
It will help farmers that's been needing to upgrade equipment. That's the main thing. A lot of the Black guys that I know that row crop, they need to upgrade. They need newer planters, newer sprayers. They need newer tractors. They making it work with what they got, like we all have to do. But it will help with that type of thing too. Give them a chance to be able to pay off some debt so they could upgrade their equipment, which is what keeps you in the game,
Because they don't have horses and mules now. You have to have tractors. You gotta have. Yeah.
You gotta be able to be productive, So that will help out a lot of farmers to be able to upgrade their equipment. Those are some of the main. To me, that's some of the main points. What they need it for right now. Because like you say, if you can't save the farm, nothing else don't matter. If the farmer gonna lose everything he had in his legacy and got to sell all his equipment off, sell his livestock off, maybe be able to keep his house. A lot of them not even able to keep their house when they do a sellout like that. Mm-hmm. Lose most of the land that they done worked all their life for and wind up with a house and a couple acres, when you was trying to build something way bigger than that. That's to me, that's the main thing. Like, save that, because if you don't, nothing else don't matter, you know?
They're farmers, and it really hurt me in my heart that as you speak, they're losing their land, they're losing their homes, they're losing the opportunity to educate the next generation because they don't have it now. And thinking about that and knowing that it's happening is very sad. It's really, really sad. And I'm looking and knowing, I'm trying to educate people by, by having a show over and over again that is so critical that we do something about our Black farmers, with our Black farmers, and not just let it go. For the urban communities as well as the rural communities, it's our responsibility to do things. So I'm thinking about churches, because I grew up in the church and some churches are too quiet. So what do you think about getting churches involved? Or can they be involved?
Yeah, I mean, that will be a great start. I mean, like you say, you just have to find the median, and see, what part everybody would play. But I mean, that would be a great start for them to be able to help each other. You could do like even the stuff as far as the urban farming, are trying to get food into food deserts and place where there is no fresh food in some of these cities. The church would be a great point for that. Where the farmer could actually set up and have a meeting place to be able to bring fresh vegetables to that area, or even far as mentoring the people on how to be able to grow their own food, in urban areas, being able to do raised beds and how to grow out of buckets and that kind of stuff. The church would be a great starting point for that.
Isn't it amazing the vegetable you can get out of a bucket?
Yes.
A
So I
bucket.
tell people it's no excuse saying, no, I don't have the space and I don't have the area. You can literally take buckets and grow whatever kind of vegetables you want to grow. Potatoes, peppers, squash, whatever you want to grow out of a bucket.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So those are things we need to know. Take a bucket and put a bed and then build.
You could take some wood and make a raised bed and fill it with dirt right there on top of the concrete. Take 2x6s and make a raised bed and grow a garden right there on that.
Right
fill
down
it with
the
dirt. Yeah,
right.
fill it with dirt and grow vegetables in it.
And freeze your vegetables and have them for the winter, right?
For the winter time, that's right.
You as a young farmer, and farming is an entrepreneur, it's a business. What are you doing to prepare yourself and your family when you get older? The aging process. You become my age. Maybe not quite that old, but what are you doing now as a young man, as a young farmer?
I have an older daughter that's 17. My oldest daughter, 17. She interested in returning to the farm, and I have 5 kids, and my youngest is a boy, and he loves it. So we hoping he gonna stay loving it all the way through. But my main thing is working hard now and setting up, making sure my infrastructure and the business side is set and getting everything ready to put them in place. So, even if my daughter wanted to come back and run it at that point, it's to the point where she can run it. She can be able to hire help if she had to, but she know the business side and what it takes, to actually run that business. So that's one of the main things I tell some young farmers that now, just make sure you set it up as a business from the beginning, and run it as a business, not just a farm. It's not your hobby, even though you love it. That's why we do it, but set it up as a business, and put stuff in place, and then life estate planning. Once you finally get to that point, start doing life estate planning, know where it's going to go to the next generation. Already have it set up. Don't leave it out there. That's how a lot of Black land has been lost, not only from that, just people not planning correctly and not wanting to leave it to one certain child and stuff like that, or heirs property. And then it winds up, in the hands of white farmers, or, they wind up buying it out because the farm got sold off, or, that wasn't taken care of and it got split up. Everybody wants to try to leave all of their kids a piece. And I do understand that. But once you go to breaking a parcel of land down into so many pieces, you kill what you can do with it, especially if you're not going to actually come there and live on that farm,
That's good.
So that's my main thing. So even if my daughter decides that she want to live in Atlanta one day, you know, that she know the business side, she can make sure the business side is running. You know, we can hire, you know, a farm manager to do the day-to-day stuff. You see what I'm saying? So just making sure all of that's in place. That's my whole goal, that by the time I get to that age, that everything is smooth sailing for them. They don't have to do all of this footwork that I'm having to do now. Maintain the good relationships that I've built and keep everything running.
I like that. And as a gerontologist, you know, aging in place, and it is a business. And you think about your retirement.
Yes.
And you have everything set in place. I really, really admire you for doing that, because way back when, our farmers didn't think about that. They worked day to day, but they didn't think that they were going to grow old. And
that's
they
right.
were no longer able to care for their farms.
Yeah.
And then the kids have moved out the farm and moved
That's right.
into urban communities. And so now you have this farm sitting there and it's not an operation. You don't have money coming in.
That's
And
right.
that has happened to so many farmers. So
And then it becomes a burden. It becomes a burden to them. And then eventually, you know, they get tired of paying the taxes and they sell it off, or they just rent it out to the white farmers. That's who wound up with most of it. You know, even, you know, that's one of the things I'm proud of, to be in the Willow Hill community where I'm at, because at one time, pretty much all of Willow Hill was Black owned, and it's still mostly Black owned. But to be able to farm and to be the first Black farmer since some of those people's dads and granddads farm, I'm the first Black farmer to farm that land since then. It gives me a sense of pride, you know.
Amen. So now we went back from grandfather, and then now you farming. Are there any new creative ways the farm industry can be run that you know of right now? Because you're not doing some of the same thing your grandfather did. So the industry is growing every day.
Yeah, I mean, my farming style, I learned a lot from my granddad that I still use today. But then, like, you have to be willing to modernize and use, you know, modern technology and all too, to make yourself more efficient. But I use a combination of the two. I don't believe in doing everything by the book. I actually started my degree for agribusiness, you know, and start going to school for that at OTC. But I don't believe in doing everything by the book. You know, I tell them by the book is for a rich man. I tell young guys now starting out, if you go try to do everything they tell you by the book, I hope you got some deep pockets, or bank with some deep pockets, you know, because I don't farm through a bank or any type of entity. I farm out of my pocket on my own. So just, you know, learning that mix of the two, what I can take from, you know, from everything what's going on and keeping up with the newer technologies and seeing what's going on and seeing how I can integrate that into my operation, but having enough sense to know that the old ways worked. You know, they work. So finding the mix of the combination of the two, and that's what's been able to keep me going, especially with the hogs and having an outdoor hog operation, because it used to be at one time, if you rode through Georgia, almost everywhere they had either a pig style, or they had a area where people raise hogs around there. You know, every farm has some pigs, and now, you know, they was plentiful just like cattle. Now you don't see it pretty much. It's very few outdoor hog farms now. Pigs are inside like chickens. You know, they've been put inside houses. So
Production, really fast.
Yeah.
Since you're ahead of the game in so many things, how can a church or group connect with you and other Black farmers directly? Do you have people to connect with you directly? And if so, how can we do that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I invite people out all the time, you know. I like to bring people out to the farm where they can actually get a chance to see it. You know, it's a lot. It's something different talking about it and actually seeing it. I've been mentoring a guy in Alabama that he just inherited some of his family's land, and he's going to try to make a go at it. He's never been a farmer in his life, but he loves it. He loves being out on the land. And like I told him, just start small and grow his way into it. But that kind of stuff, that's what I'm wanting to get into eventually, you know, doing consulting and just, you know, helping out, just teaching our people, period, you know, using my farm as a learning hub, you know, for people to come out and be able to see it and do it and be hands-on and put your hands in the dirt if you want to, you know, and see what's actually going on. And so you can take it back and replicate it.
Would that be Roy Mosley Farm? The name of your farm is?
Yes, it's Roy Mosley Farms. You can find me on Facebook at Roy Mosley Jr. You can find me on Instagram at Mosley Farms. I tell people all the time that just send me a message, man. We'll connect. We'll get it together. We'll get you out there if you want to come out there.
Okay, so that's our invitation to visit your farm.
That's right.
One day we would do that. We're going to surprise you one day. We'll just ride down, go fly somewhere, and then boom, they're already growing your farm. So thank you so much again for joining us today, and continue to educate us and continue to do what you're doing as a young Black farmer, making it, and continue to get all the information that you possibly can, because you know that nobody's not going to knock on your door and give it to you.
That's right.
Be proactive. And then another thing, being proactive too, we have to go, but being proactive is important because you fill the application out before the deadline.
That's right.
A lot of times what happens is that when you finally get it, you have a couple of days before you can turn the application in, and then boom,
exactly.
the application is not accepted. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and we'll talk soon.
Okay.
God bless you.
Change the world. I will be the sunlight.